All right, I have 1 o'clock on Thursday, September 12th. I'll call the Lyon County Fiscal Board meeting to order. If you would, please stand as we have the invocation and pledge. Randy, do you mind to say the prayer?
Glad to. God, we come before you today, and we thank you again for allowing us to live in this country, Lord, to live in this county. And we ask that you be with the leadership of our nation and our state and our county, Lord, as they direct us, help lead us, and for all that work and aspire to this, and just for all of our county residents, we thank you so much for the blessings you've given us. Continue in your name. Amen.
Before we say the pledge, I just want to have a quick moment of silence. Yesterday was 9/11, and tomorrow is also Trooper Ponder's memorial, the trooper that was killed on the interstate in Lyon County. So just a moment of silence, and then we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any visitor comments? Spencer, you have a
Hello, my name is Spencer Blaney. I'm with RWE representing the Pleasant Valley Solar Project. Just wanted to inform the court that we've submitted proposed changes we would like you to consider for the solar ordinance. I submitted those to the judge executive. I had a discussion with her yesterday, walked her through what we're proposing. There's also a map that should be available in your office, but just wanted to let you know that I'm available if you have any questions about that while you're looking through that. And we'll be looking to request that you vote to send that to the planning committee at the next month's fiscal court meeting. But I'm available to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you. I did provide them with a copy of what you provided yesterday as well.
Okay, if you don't mind, this is just a summarization of what we are proposing. The full text of that should be.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Spencer. Any other visitor comments? I see none. So you should have 3 minutes, one from August 5th, one from August 12th, and one from August the 26th. And I will entertain a motion to accept all, so long as it's unanimous. We have a motion by Jeff. Do we have a second? Second by Quinn. We currently have it set for October 4th, but we would have to have another special call to pay the bills, because we won't have all the bills in, and technically the bills have to be paid within 30 days. And so we either move it back to the original, I know, Magistrate Sutton can't be here, but we either do that and not do the 4th, or we do the 4th and add a special later in the month to pay claims. So what would you all like to do?
I'll just go back to the original date.
No meeting. The only question I would have, if, could you have a special meeting later on and not have it on the fourth? And not the 10th? That'd be nice.
Yes, we would just have to move it, yeah.
But that's up to y'all. I will not be here on the 10th.
We may have to keep the 4th, because if any bills come in now and we don't have one past the 12th, or before the 12th, we'll be out 30 days on those bills. Now, we do mark it if we get it late, you know, because that's one thing the auditor will say, this wasn't paid within 30 days, well, we didn't get it, and we do mark and notate that when it comes in, but are you good for the normal date of the 10th?
Always in the right now?
You'll have to be here, he's not here.
I'm not with you, I can assure you.
Are you good for the normal on the 10th? And you're good, alright, so we will go back to the normal date of 10/10/24.
That's 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
And we're canceling the 4th.
Yes, canceling the 4th.
She just closed the courthouse. That's what she said.
Alright, so that is taken care of. Alright, so we have the second reading of budget amendment ordinance 09/2024. We have a motion to approve the budget ordinance that was presented in August. Nothing has changed. Motion by Bobby, do we have a second? Second by Jeff.
This will be the second and final reading of Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 09/2024, an annual budget amendment ordinance. I will be reading this ordinance in a summary form only. A complete copy of this ordinance is available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 09/2024 is an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the County of Lyon has received unbudgeted revenues from miscellaneous sources being ordained by the Fiscal Court of Lyon County as follows. Section 1, the budget for fiscal year 24-25 is amended to subsection A, increase or decrease receipts of the general, road, jail, House Bill 577, DOJ asset forfeiture, and ARPA funds by $1,507,604.24. Subsection B, increase the expenditure accounts and the like amount. This has been the second and final reading of Lyon County, Kentucky, ordinance number 09/2024.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. Alright, if you don't mind, because we do have a visitor that's waiting on number 15. I'll make a motion to appoint Curtis Brown to the Lyon County Fire District Board with a term to expire on September 30th of 2027. We have a second. Second by Bobby. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. You'll give me 1 second to swear him in so we can leave. Or you're more than welcome to stay for the whole thing or not. You can raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth and to so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office of said according to law, and I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of this friendly Constitution, I be a citizen of the state and not possible with deadly weapons within the state or out of it, nor have I sent or accepted expiring August of 2028. Second by Jeff. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. I'll also make a motion to reappoint Jenny Levin to the Lyon County Fire District 2 Board with a term expiring September of 2025. Second by Jeff. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. All right. Going back to number 9, which is the Diamond Club. So my recommendation to the court is for the park committee to meet, which would be Master Fowler and Master Cummins, along with Scott Coney and Benji Trice. The Diamond Club has a meeting, I believe, on October the 2nd at 7 p.m. And to provide the Diamond Club with a list or some recommendations. One, we want the rules of the lakes area, baseball and softball, they call that labs. So that we have a copy of those rules that they operate by, to provide monthly financials to the fiscal court, including receipts, not just the bank statement, but to show invoices that go with the checks that are written, and a restructure of the Diamond Club members as far as president, treasurer, vice president, etc.
Where do they meet?
They meet at the Jones Park under the pavilion.
Oh,
What day was that?
October the 2nd at 7 p.m. I think is what time
Okay.
is when their meeting is. But I would like for the park committee to meet and go over that before you all.
that's, oh,
Yeah. Anybody have any questions or concerns on that? Oh, and to look at redoing the agreement with the back barn. It's been 14 years since that was.
I was asked last night to go look inside the back one, but I didn't make it up there. It was awful. And I think the Diamond Club is supposed to be.
They're, so according to that agreement, that's why I would like for the park
Who
committee.
signed that agreement? Who signed it on behalf of, who are we in agreement with, I guess?
Here it is, it's like my sheet's gone. So it's between the fiscal court and at the time, the Lyon County Diamond Club president, and I have no idea whose signature that is.
Let me see. No, never mind.
I think at that time, I think it was Jim Hawkins.
Oh, no.
I have no idea whose signature that is.
Jeff Fowler?
No. That's a little worse than that.
I just don't, Jeff, I don't think
But it does say they're responsible for cleaning it and maintaining it, et cetera, and I think there's some issues, like the high school uses it, and so I just think that agreement needs to be redone when you all look at that.
This one.
So is Jacob Long,
Anyway,
I'm not sure,
about the 23rd.
yeah, that's,
I've got court afternoon, the 23rd.
The visiting.
Other than that, I'm good anytime.
yeah.
I know I could be. It's on the 23rd.
What year was that?
2011.
You have anything going on the 23rd?
23rd of this month?
Yeah.
community building issues, you all should have received, an email, it should be in your packet from Krista, I think she emailed it as well. You all have that? And then you should also have an email from, Wacom, so you can kind of look at both. Krista did what you all asked in regards to how many times it's used, how many were nonprofits, kind of what the percentage was, and then you also have a cost estimate for the little building, from Wacom.
I was surprised, I mean, nonprofits use them,
Yes,
it's almost half the use.
yeah. Well, the other day, during the Farm Bureau dinner, there was the doors that go through to the restrooms in the big convention center, they were rubbing against each other and were breaking, so I called Tom that night, took a picture of it, sent it to him. So, I mean, we have continual issues in both facilities, but we were starting with the little one because that's the worst of the two.
This is the estimate is on the Leah's Jones building, right?
Yes.
So Jim, are you looking to go up on rent maybe a little bit?
I was, and I think that's why Master Sutton wanted to see like how many times it's rented and try to get an average, because I think we're gonna have to. If we invest in doing the upgrades and making the facilities nicer, then I think we're gonna have to.
How long has it been the price that it is right now? Do you know?
I think we increased it a little since we've been on it.
I was thinking like 5 years ago.
It wasn't much.
So let me see if I put it in the last one. I don't think it was in there, yeah.
I mean, the revenue we're receiving right now, I don't know if they would pay for the utilities out there.
If you go back and look, that's, the utilities were $31,890.
No way, I mean, it doesn't come half the utilities.
No. And there's your total revenue.
I mean, I don't even know what a reasonable price is, to be honest with you.
Is anybody else around here for convention center like that?
Tree was the next closest one to the convention center size, and they charge $250,
Or
Nice.
and we're $125. They go a little bit more depending on, and then the other, only one that I, kind of similar to our Leah Jones was Marshall County's.
So am I working out right to do all that for the whole building, you're looking at $37,549?
Yeah, you can see the demo, and then the main area flooring is about 12,000, the installation is 6, the paint and everything's 1,800, and the HVAC, but in talking with Richard Mitchell, he seems to think we don't need to necessarily do the HVAC, because he said if we tear everything out and we actually insulate it, everything works. It's just in the winter, if it gets below a certain degrees, we won't allow anybody to use it because we have to put heaters in there and shut off the water and if it gets too cold. So I think if we do some of the insulation and changing some things out, I think that'll make a big difference as well.
Is 250 too high?
For the big one, I don't think so, but that's my personal opinion. You know, I know a lot of people use it for family, reunion
you rent it, a lot of times you rent it for a wedding, multiple, rent it for 4 or 5 days. They thought, and I kind of agree, that there should be a break
In that cost.
in the cost for multiple days.
I could see that. You know, if it's $250 for one day, you get the day before, the day after, you know, $100 a day or something like that, or I can see that.
So what is the big bill, 250 a day?
The big building is currently $125 if you're a Lyon County resident. If you're not a Lyon County resident, it is $250. But I'll tell you, a majority of the people are Lyon County residents, or they have family here, so their family comes and rents it on their behalf. So I don't know very many that actually pay the $250.
I think they're having class reunions out there from adjoining counties, that's how they pay that.
Okay. But I think in doing this, we also need to change the rental agreement. I did contact the company that the sheriff's office uses for online payment. And that can be done if we wanted to do a deposit. But they would charge a $2 fee. So, because we don't make enough, there's not enough business there for them to make anything. So, if you charge, say, a $25 non-refundable or a $50 non-refundable deposit when you booked it, there would be a $2 fee that either the county would need or you would have to add it to the renter.
Well, I'm good with something like that, because if you have problems, you're not gonna know about it till later on. That can help with that cost if something tore up.
So I'll add another little thing to this as well in regards to the community buildings. A lot of people use inflatables in the buildings. When I came in, somebody inquired about it, Abby and I both called our insurance, and they would have to add Lyon County as an additional insured to be able to do that. So we had told people, no, they cannot have inflatables. Come to find out, an inflatable company actually has a key to our building, and they have been setting up inflatables for people. We had no idea they had the key until 2 weeks ago, when we told somebody they couldn't have an inflatable. And so that's another issue, like, we don't know how many people have keys, we don't know a lot of these things that are going on. And I just think some of this needs to be changed in regards to the buildings, and we're also putting up some cameras and some other things, because we've had some tearing up of the gravel parking lots by kids doing donuts. The road department's graded it twice within the last month, or the last 2 weeks, I think.
3 weeks, months on it.
And I know it's dry right now, but I went to the ball game the other night, and I couldn't see for the dust. It was awful. It was bad.
Should have been great.
No. I can't imagine. I was driving over this late. It was awful.
And we've ordered some signs to take care of other issues about vehicles and different things not allowed to be operated on ball fields and soccer fields.
Somebody makes me donuts up there. It's not far.
I know. But we ordered a couple just so that we now have signage. So I'm good with what the court decides. If we wanna look at, Wacom doing part of this, for the little building, but I think we need to look at, because it's probably already rented towards the end of the year, we need to check those dates. And then the other thing is, how far in advance are we gonna allow people to rent it? Because they've rented it 1 year to 2 years out, and, currently it's rented at the price that we have. I need to talk with Lee to find out, at this point, the price goes up, and we can contact everybody that's got it rented if they wanna continue to rent it, or how that works.
If you reserve a motel, how far out can you reserve a motel? A year? I'm getting,
Yeah.
6 months.
6 months.
I would say an airplane now is, I think, 6 months to get a ticket.
I think 6 months is good.
seal it.
I'm curious if it has asbestos. How long has that building been there?
I don't think that time's got as
I
much.
could say it basically, I was in high school, I know a building was up, so I remember being in there in high school.
Now, I know the floor probably has no as
Would
much.
you have to grind it, would you have to grind it, Bobby, after you fill it up?
You can sand the glue off the floor, and then, to me, just seal the concrete.
Or if it has asbestos, what do you do?
The tile don't have it.
It's,
There's no floor cover made after 1980 that's got asbestos in it.
I'm just saying, I graduated in '84, and I know the building was there. Prior.
But it's, that may not be the
Yeah,
original.
that's what I asked, so we can fix the,
Yeah, otherwise, you'll know.
how about we just seal it before, it's like,
That's 12 or 12 times, so spinal competition.
we'll talk to them too. Mhm.
If there was 9 by 9 times, I'd probably say B, but those being 12 or 12, I don't think it's got asbestos in it. Cause they took asbestos out of the floor in 1981, or 80 or 81.
Yeah, it's just a concrete floor, I think it looks good.
And then, like I said, that's what I said, $12,000, I mean, you could all, maybe take a couple of that and go in there and scrape that up. Take the glue off the floor, and then seal it real good.
Well, you can see in the, I think there's not tile, I can't remember if there's tile in that far room or not.
They really did like two different ones. But I know they were moved. I still all three were all the homes, if I what is it?
Well, the same thing with the, no, it's just the whole floor, basically what it is. Remember the old, I don't know, they call terrazzo, you just pour it, level it out, and then you sprinkle.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like what you do to your garage floor, you could concrete garage floor with the
I
speckles.
agree with that, I agree with that, doing everything, except the HVAC, but on the floor, and I think I would reconsider.
Get a
that.
second estimate.
I've got a Band-Aid. Well, I've got a first floor.
And you could say 10 pound.
I'm just sealing the concrete.
It's still got a basement more about it. I mean, you got concrete over the heat wheel. Put it on here. Just tear all that stuff down. And you might, yeah, but that tile just as hard.
I'm just asking, I don't know.
I mean, kid won't fall on concrete or tile, they're gonna be hard.
Okay.
So, like Lee said.
All right, so we'll do them in two separate things. If I have it, Bobby's has the motion to do the number 1, which is the demo and disposal of the ceiling grid system, do the insulation and the paint, and have another estimate for flooring and not do the HVAC at this time, if the insulation takes care of that. Yes, that's why he broke it down that way. Yes.
he'd make a motion, I'll say.
I think I said it motion, I'm sorry. I said it for him, I worded it.
If I,
I reworded his motion, let's put it that way. Do we have a second to just the repairs of the little building that I stated from Bobby?
yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no? Motion passed. Okay, then, we're looking at, only looking out for 1 year, setting a non-refundable deposit fee, and I will get more estimates. I've only talked to one. Lori just informed me she has a company as well, so we'll get a couple of, estimates on that. And then, what do you all wanna look at increasing, and when does that start? If we stop at, say, December 31st, and that price goes, and we contact everybody that's got it rented and tell them the new price, or,
You can do that, or you can grandfather those in. So you can either grandfather in the people that have already reserved it, or you can put them on sufficient notice that the rental price is gonna go up on a date certain, and ask if they wanna still maintain their reservation.
What's your recommendation?
What is the little building?
so the little building, this is the other issue with the little building. The little building is
most people that rent the small building are just renting it for a meeting. So a lot of people like the health department, for instance, or, like a logical society, Girl Scouts, etc. And so we had groups that, two groups might wanna have meetings in the same day, and there's really no reason not to let them, because you might have the building reserved for a 1 hour meeting for the whole day. So we
Or in
decided,
the morning versus the afternoon.
so we decided to try 4 hour increments. Now they can request, and we make this known, if they would like it the whole day, like if it's for a birthday party, all they have to do is make that request, and if it's available, we give it to them at no extra charge. But we start with 4 hour increments. That way we can have 2 things going on in that building the same day, if that makes sense.
So if they requested for a full day, what's the price?
Same price.
Oh.
We don't extend it. In theory, when we began this, it actually made us more money. Because now, before we're just renting the building out for the entire day for $35. Well, now we might rent it out twice in the same day, and that's $70. If that makes sense. And they can fluctuate. Some people just say, I need it for 5 hours, or I want it for 6 hours.
Does that work pretty good for you, Chris? I mean, scheduling wise?
Mhm. The internet scheduling is the best thing we've ever done. As far as the buildings go.
Pretty much everybody lives online now.
Unless they're elderly and just don't have access to the internet, we'll do it for them, but we try to get everybody to do that as much as possible. I don't know if it's making as much money as,
I say, leave it rented by the day. I said $75 a day, and then if 2 people wanna rent it, they can split the 75.
well, but the 2 people aren't gonna know each other.
And the nonprofits, they don't pay.
Nonprofits don't pay. And most of your nonprofits are meetings.
Yeah.
Or churches, and most of the churches are just doing some sort of community event type thing. The little building is primarily used for birthday parties. And most birthday parties don't need more than about 4 hours. Family reunion, they usually request it for the whole day, so.
I think we need to go up from 35 to something,
And it's 35 to 75.
We made $17,155 with both buildings last year. We're talking about what our light bill was.
So the expenses, this is what I did, expenses for both, this is both buildings, which includes Mighty Clean, the electric, the gas, the water, the exterminators, and then the normal expenses such as repairs, paper products, etc. is $31,890.34.
We went back.
Now, your 17,000, does that include your nonprofits rentals too?
That's just revenue.
That's
what I was buying.
that's just the revenue, it's $18,175.
So we lost how much, what'd you say?
$13,715.
And see, some of that came as a result also of, we lost, this is pre-COVID. We were not out that much money on the buildings because our inmates used to clean the buildings every day. And so we never had a cleaning service until we started all of that.
And they're, how much are they, 800 a month?
To 1,000.
Give or take, yeah, it's approximately 9,600 for the year.
But we never paid that before. I mean, that began after COVID. So,
And part of it, like, we started using the inmates only to clean the restrooms at the park, and that's already been an issue. So that's why we didn't put them in the buildings. Now, they deep cleaned the buildings for us twice, but as far as cleaning them every day, no, because we've already had one issue on the restrooms, and they're actually to pick up trash on county and state roads and to help mow during mowing season.
and prior to COVID, they cleaned every day, the inmates.
Yeah.
But Scott and Tom can tell you there were issues then too, so.
So what'd you say, Jane, how much, 13?
motion for the big building. Go up to $200 for the first day. Second day is $175, third day is $150, any day after that is $125. And I'm not opposed to $250 on the first day.
200, 175, 150, and 125.
And if it's after four more days, it's at 125, because that's the
Yes,
original.
4 more.
That would be, and then I move also that we have a $50 non-refundable. Is there anything else we need, that we talked about we need to include?
And only book the 1 year out.
And on the book for one calendar year.
Can I ask you some questions? We would also need a resident, non-resident price, or are you saying you would just have it one price?
Yeah, that's,
That would be the resident, okay, I hadn't thought about the non-resident things.
I was gonna ask the same thing, glad you asked it.
The resident right now is 125 a day, right?
Yes.
Okay, this will be my record, this is my motion for resident. I don't know. Non-resident, I'd say $50 more in each category.
In each category. All right, so I'm gonna read Quinn's, I'm just gonna read Quinn's motion so everybody understands it. So Magistrate 7 has made a motion for the convention center, the Lee S. Jones Convention Center, to set the rate at, for a resident, a Lyon County resident, $200 on the first day, $175 if they book it a second day, $150 if they book it a third day, and $125 for a fourth and any more days after 4. Yes, consecutive days. With a non-refundable $50 fee. A non-resident would be $250 the first day, $225 the second, $200 the third, and $175 for 4 in consecutive days.
in the same on $50.
I'm sorry.
Non-refundable.
And a $50 non-refundable fee, and only be able to book 1 year out.
And add to that, and this began on January 1.
And this is to begin on January 1.
Can I ask you some questions? Okay.
Hold on, we gotta get the second first.
Okay.
And then, yes, and I've got some for you as well. Alright, so that is Magistrate Sutton's motion,
I got a question for Chris.
okay? I think we
How
gotta
do
have
you
a
see
second
this going
first.
on
It's
this
not
deal,
done
Chris?
first.
We gotta have a second first,
Oh.
hold on, we gotta have a second first. Somebody has to second the motion. Well, yeah, we have to have the second, or do we want to pull his motion for you all to have more discussion before we make the motions? I think I need questions answered before they'll second the motion.
It's up to them. What do you say?
Okay, I'll second the motion at this time, so y'all can answer the questions.
Yeah, that's what
I second the motion, so y'all can ask your questions.
it's $850 for non-residents, $650 for residents.
So like if I'd have rented this building back when my kid got married, child, that's almost $850 for 4 days. I probably wouldn't have done that.
I did it for 5 days, and I would have, because I don't think
You would have.
because you couldn't go anywhere else. I promise you, the video's gonna be $10,000. I mean, I know because I've got another daughter getting married right now, and I know what they're looking at.
Are you gonna rent this building?
No, I'm not decorating anymore.
You're not gonna rent this building?
No, they're going somewhere else. Thank God.
They are, that's why we didn't do it. What we did.
So I have some questions.
No.
How would the deposit work?
Okay, so I reached out to the company that does the sheriff's office taxes, and he provided me with some information. Lori also has one in talking to the one for the sheriff's office. It would be attached and they would pay for it, and then they're gonna send us a check or the total, or it can drop straight into the checking account for those fees every time.
My ACH is the night of.
So,
And it's non-refundable, so you're not gonna.
it is non-refundable, I'm just trying to think on Abby's side. That's why we don't do anything credit card. We have no credit card transactions coming into the county whatsoever. So we just need to think through how that affects the revenue side as well, I think.
I don't have, it comes right into my bank account the next day. I use it, anytime you pay in my office with a credit card.
I just think she should probably be in on that conversation if we're gonna start a completely new type of,
Yeah, that's my
Acquired,
question
you know,
too.
a
If we had
revenue.
more work with somebody,
yeah, because that's a reason we've always been a cash check system, we've just never gotten into that, but that's just another whole element for Abby. And I just feel like she should probably be in on that.
And if she deposits a check, I mean, she's gonna use it, she's gonna do it the same way if she deposited a check or whatever. It's gonna go into that account. You know, you have to
She in-
determine what
I
account.
saw her
it
yours
goes
was
to.
closed.
She was in a training. It's gonna go into one account, you just have it set up
You'll
to
have
go
to
in the
decide
general
what
fund.
account it goes in, if it's the general fund,
it would be the general, I would more than likely
or
think.
the general fund.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
I just think as our treasurer,
mhm.
she should be asked her thoughts on that. Because it will create more work for her, so. That's just another revenue stream, she'll have to check and balance.
That have to be another line item on the budget or anything.
That would be a revenue line.
No, it'd be on the revenue, but it would still be under the
Yeah.
buildings.
Really.
And is it a $50 non-refundable deposit per day or reservation?
my motion
It's
is.
reservation.
Okay.
Just for reservation.
And I know another thing on that as well, and looking at that is determining how, well, the other thing is though, is like when the nonprofits go online to look at, we need to look at that, how,
All right, so you have a lot of, so you,
I don't know. I don't think it's better than that.
I feel like you probably need to, come up with a list. If we're gonna get into all this, I think you probably need to come up with a list that you provide to us that says which organizations are allowed to use the building free of charge. And be specific, because right now, so-and-so's class reunion,
But if we come up with a list, it's not gonna be exhaustive. I mean, somebody's gonna come in and, it's gonna be a question mark, and I think we ought to give the authority to the judge to make that decision.
that would be fine. Because right now, anybody can tell me they're a nonprofit, or anybody can say, well, it's for our class reunion. It's a not-for-profit event. So are we,
You should be exempt.
I don't do it.
no, but, they're always trying to come up with a reason why they should have the building free of charge. And so I feel like it should probably be, like, they have to have a tax exempt ID, maybe, that they provide. Because that would be any church, and that would be any nonprofit organization. But for instance, the health department uses the building every month, for a 2-hour meeting, So are we gonna continue to allow all the agencies? I'll tell you who uses it a lot, is conservation, a lot.
The big one or the little one?
The big building. So, just,
But they don't pay,
no, because they're a government agency.
not really gaining anything.
Like, and so I think the busy times weekends, for
For rentals,
rentals.
yes.
So
So we're looking.
I almost, and there's no way to go with this, I don't think, but somebody's willing to pay, I should ask for her to take over. Somebody that's not going to pay, but I don't know how you govern that.
there probably needs to be some tightening of that, just in who's allowed to use the building free of charge. I feel like there needs to be. Or tell nonprofits they need to use the little building, you know, unless it's a big community event or something, but if you're having a meeting, 20 people, you're over there, you know, because that would cut down on the cleaning in the big building as well.
You probably don't have any way to know how many of the 83 nonprofits were in our county.
They're all pretty much
All
on
over.
county. I don't think we've really had any nonprofits that don't have some sort of affiliation with the county.
We don't charge as a school outside of the county to use it for prom, right?
We have,
We do charge.
because they're not.
Outside.
Like when Crittenden County wants to have their prom, they get charged.
Okay. I didn't know, I wasn't for sure, that's why I asked. They use, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, there's like district spelling bees or district something, you know, events like that are not regional kind of thing that they will do out there too, that we don't charge. Things like that. I would say almost all the free use is somebody here has an affiliation.
So we have a motion on the floor. It's either a vote, an amended motion, or it doesn't, it either passes or doesn't pass. Just for the, that's just for the big building, one building at a time. We'll need to know, I'll need to know, just as a note, the little building, how many times it's rented after January 1, because we did vote prior to this, do some repairs to that building.
After January 1?
Yeah, because
What's booked?
we'll start the repairs in January, so later today you can look and see.
Yeah, it's probably a good bit.
Because we're gonna do some repairs to that building.
I mean, I had people today booking for June 25.
That's another thing, that's where I think we need, if we're gonna grandfather some in, we only go so far. You can't grandfather all the way in, you know, 26. You know,
There's people that have it for a year out already.
So we need to pass
The little building, or big or both?
do the low and
been telling people like about the sound system and the projector.
We're gonna have to buy that equipment as
Yeah,
well.
like I feel like if we're gonna make it a nice venue, it needs to probably be.
Yeah.
If we buy that, where's that money coming? I mean, are we just gonna keep charging the same price?
No, the price is gonna have to go up, but some of it is gonna come out of the park budget that we currently have, but just like at the convenience center, I just bought, their cameras went completely out, and I got online on Amazon and bought pretty much the exact same system that they had for $300, and all 4 cameras are now working at the convenience center.
You're gonna take money from the park budget?
Well, it's all in one.
It's all in the park budget.
Okay.
That's the only line item for the park.
Here's the problem with that, I said, we got a guy that is working over there, that's driving his own personal vehicle to go get stuff.
Going to get weapons, right?
Like Scott, he's had to drive his own personal vehicle to pick up stuff.
Yeah.
If we're taking money from that,
But that's only one, there's only one line item for, I guess, the park. I mean, it was cut, I went back and looked, and I wanna say, right after, Judge White came in, it started getting cut, it went from like 105,000 down to 55,000.
I think Randy has something to say.
Yes, sir.
Judge, speaking from a nonprofit organization, like when we have a meeting out there, what's the problem in setting just a base flat rate for nonprofits?
I don't have an issue with that either.
I mean, if we wanna get the big building or whatever, make it half and then half of the other one if you wanna rent it, I mean, if it's a nonprofit, that's still gonna make you a revenue, and we just have to include it in the budget. And it's just part of it.
That's just what I got to tell them, we
Yeah.
wanna charge a fee for it.
Or a cleaning fee or something, right? I mean, you.
I say you still charge for the use of it, because most of the time, if it's a meeting, you're gonna use the projector, you're gonna use the audio and everything else. So you don't know if it's a meeting of 15 people, or it's gonna be a meeting of 200 people that's gonna put an overabundant use of it. So just put a flat standard, if they said I'm a nonprofit, say, okay, if you put it up to 200, it's gonna be $100 a day.
yeah, because the nonprofits last year cost us about $10,700.
Well, and if you got organizations that are used to using it, they might have to look for a venue elsewhere. I mean, I don't know if I have a small meeting of 10 people.
You know, but then you have to think like, where's conservation gonna go? Where's the health department gonna go? That is,
Well, maybe where they're gonna have to use, depending on the amount, they may have to use just the small building versus the big convention
Exactly.
center, you know.
and I don't know, cause she's doing events like with kids, you know? Maybe whatever her name is, Mary Beth Riley, conservation 4-H stuff.
Okay, 4-H extension,
Right.
they're doing stuff, but they've increased it.
I say conservation, I'm not talking about conservation, I'm talking about extension. Yes.
See, that's a taxing district, so.
That's a taxing district, yeah.
I don't think they should be charged. That's my opinion. I'm just a clerk.
But that's what I'm saying, I don't know that whatever she does, cause they're 4-H events, I don't know that they could even fit in the little building. I have no idea about those events. But every time she books the convention center. And I would say the vast majority of those last year were extension.
But if you do one, then you're gonna have to set a standard on
It's
who you
different.
do.
No, I think a taxing district comes in, that's a government agent.
Health department's a government
Yeah, I
agency.
mean, I don't think you should charge them either.
Yeah. But that's the majority of your nonprofits that are using it, honestly.
But you have the Bass Club, the Girl Scouts, and what are some of the other ones that are not a taxing district?
The Lakes Area Archaeological Society, Master Gardeners, but they're out of extension. The Red Cross uses it once a month for a blood drive.
Are they charged or not charged?
But are they making money on that?
They use churches too.
No, they do use churches too, but the water and the electric's what's being used.
I don't know, but. Bassmasters have a monthly meeting. fix the little building. Health department's there every month, maybe twice a month, once in the little building, once in convention. The master gardeners have several events throughout the year, extensions there, pretty
I just
consistent.
wonder if the extension's gonna change since they've got their new.
And I can ask, I mean, they built a meeting room, a nice size one over there.
They've got,
And your-
several people.
Your
meeting at the same
churches
time.
are random scattered for like the worship night at the, that Miranda just did. If somebody's having a fall festival, I mean, they're very hit or miss, but,
Okay, I'll make a motion, I do have a question about my own motion, for everybody, just, is the price that I have suggested or made in my motion gonna be prohibitive? I mean, I don't want a building out there nobody's not gonna use.
That's what I'm worried.
yeah.
So, $200 opposed to $125, is that gonna keep anybody from leasing the building? It would not for me, I would just say that, now, I don't know about, I mean, cause that's a huge building for $200.
They go through McDonald's.
I think it'll hinder some of your birthday parties.
Because we're looking to increase revenue. If we put the price up where nobody's gonna lease it, then we got an empty building up there for nobody to use.
I don't think your weddings will be affected. I think it'll be your birthday parties. There's a lot of birthday parties
You talking about in the little or the big?
in the big, and I'll tell you why. Most people call me and they want to book the small building for a birthday party. But then they ask me what the price is on the big building, and they're like, well, we really need a bigger space, and they're already stretching to go to the 125, I guess what I'm trying to say. So most of them will stretch and go to the 125 because they think that's a good price, but I don't know that they're gonna go to
It's a good
200.
price.
Yeah, but I don't know that they're gonna,
What's the housing authority, will they rent through, cause they need to bring more over?
I don't think anything.
nothing, but it's smaller than the small building out of the park. I mean, it's tiny.
I know that's what we had, Krista's, when Krista was born, that baby shower.
I bet it's really small.
On the other hand, my suggestion is this, if we don't raise it at least that much, we might as well leave it the same, because we're not getting more revenue anyway, so that's my opinion, either go let her out, go my motion, or just leave it the way it is, and suck it up and
Take the loss.
take the loss, because anywhere in between there, you're not gaining anything as far as revenue. So, I'm in favor of my motion, or I'm in favor of leave it the way it is, and suck it up. And let it
What
work.
if you go to 150?
That's only $25, and I'm not getting anything. I'm not hearing that increase.
Start looking at that even.
I wouldn't.
If you leave it the way it is, I would not put audio or video in there. I would make them, if they bought it for a meeting, or if they bought it for a wedding, I would let them supply their own.
And here's the thing about that anyway, even if we put it in there, there's no guarantee it's gonna continue to work or even be working when they go to rent it. I mean, when they go to use it. So it's,
Well, a microphone walked off, I know, we had a really nice microphone.
right, I mean,
Disappeared.
if we wanna get into being a venue like that, we're gonna have to have somebody that's like an event manager that goes in there every day and you pay extra for the AV equipment and that person makes sure it's in the building for that day or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, cause the speakers in there now, you can talk in it, you can't hear across the thing, I mean, it does need new equipment, and I'm even in favor of, that would be an additional fee if they need it, and everybody's,
Check it in or out.
Yes, check it in and out, cause right now they just drop the key off, but like I explained to them, we had no idea who had a key here recently, and they've been going in and out, setting up inflatables, and that's a whole nother issue in regards to insurance. If a company is going to pay to add the county as an additional insured, then they would be the only company that we would allow for them to do the inflatables. Because they have to, our insurance doesn't cover that, we would have to add a policy to pay for that every single time.
Was it you, Randy, that recommended checking the equipment in and out?
if we don't increase.
You don't have any way of knowing how many non-resident people rent a fee,
There's not a whole lot.
not a whole lot.
No, I mean, there's some weddings, occasional birthday parties, but I mean, overall, these are Lyon County people.
I'll second Wynn's motion.
I already did.
Oh, I thought you. What we need, vote?
Because I was looking, I get what Quinn's saying, and I totally understand. I mean, I do. Everything's going up, everything's expensive. I get it, but in order for us to make some changes, we've got to make some changes, because it's been like this for several years. And we've already agreed to do some upgrades to the little building, and I think we need to, make some changes to the big building as well at some point. But I was gonna ask what you all thought, if instead of doing the 200, doing a $50 increase to 175, and potentially looking at the second, third, and fourth day is maybe just an additional 125 for second and consecutive days, instead of doing second, third, and fourth. Doing 175 for a resident, a non-resident, if we do it like we've doubled in the past, it would be $325, is that right?
No, $250.
I'm sorry, $350. Yeah, if we go to 175, it would be $350 for a non-resident.
No, non-residents are 200 right now. So if you're going 50,
So you all didn't.
it's
Okay.
125 and 200.
For some reason, I was thinking it was double, I apologize.
That's what I was thinking, was 200 too.
Okay,
It's 200.
so then I would look at doing
250.
yes, 175 for resident, 250 for a non-resident, but then second, third, and fourth for a resident would just be $100 additional a day, and 150 for non-resident, second and consecutive days.
So you're gonna go less than what we had. We'll say third, so
Yes.
it was 125.
That's for, I guess, a second and additional.
Which is $100.
175.
Well, I did.
I see what you're saying.
I should have, I don't have a better deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I went, I figured out what I was paid, I had 100.
Okay. Well, I guess we could do 125 for second and
250, and then 150.
Then imagine you don't get a discount.
You're saying 175, 100, 100.
I changed it to 125, because it's currently 125, so Quinn's right, it would go down.
Yeah.
So it's 175,
So,
and then 125.
175, and then.
125 for each consecutive day.
What's it paying now?
Each consecutive day after the first.
125 per day.
Yeah.
So when you wanna go up a little more on the second, third day, like Quinn suggested.
Well, if I went 175, then it would go, the second day would be 150, the
Yeah.
third day would be 125, and the fourth day would be 100. Because I just lowered it by 25.
I don't know, I don't think we go over 125.
I don't have to go below.
So the third,
As the person who's got to deal with all these people and take up the money, can we just say 175 every day? Because that's really starting to get in the weeds.
That's what I would do, I would
Yeah.
do 175.
I would just pick a rate personally, if it were me, I'm not fiscal court member, but as the person who's gotta collect all this, and it's just easier, and it helps the public understand it
Yeah.
easier if it's just,
It's better to say 175 a day.
every day.
Totally, I get you.
Per day.
I'm fine with that. Let's just look at revenue wise, what this is gonna do, because I had to think it on $50 a day. And if you do, probably average 70 days a year, because one year was 63 and one was 83, so you're looking at $3,500, right?
you said 70 days? Yes.
I think, $3,500.
So it'd be a $200 gain if you went 4 days, then we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So,
We're not gonna get gonna be at the cost of the county too.
Exactly.
We're gonna lose money.
We are, but we still have to make upgrades, so we either gonna have to do something different to increase the revenue of the county, or, but I still think it's cheaper than what it should be.
I agree.
I mean,
I'm okay with that, I just don't, we just don't.
Because there's nothing to hold them back.
Working.
and do we split that for the nonprofits?
That's a good, that's a question.
They have said they talk to
Yeah.
I'll listen to that, just to say.
It's a 10,000, if we rented it 201 times last year, we go at $50, it's $10,050 more.
Yeah, we take off the 83 of the nonprofit.
I went by
Okay.
the 201.
Minus 83.
Minus 83 because they don't pay.
So the 201 is not a total,
No,
that's
do
the
about
total for the whole
120.
year.
Do about 120.
118.
So 6,000. 6,000.
So is it
Where's the money? I looked at that from
That's what I was thinking.
6,300.
Because
We're talking about
Yeah,
6,000.
that was days that were used.
you know, and, I mean, they're putting weird, they don't take good care of it, but they're still putting weird care on it.
He said like a $50 flat fee for nonprofits. Just still figure, I'll give him a minute to figure. Then I'm not.
I mean, that brings it $4,150 a year, just from your nonprofits, $4,150.
Or I would suggest,
If the owner decides to have money, so if you want to have, you want to say that.
I would suggest you charge nonprofits to use the convention center and maybe not charge them to use the small building.
That's what I was thinking.
That would force them into the small building, probably, that they probably need to be in the small building, some of them.
Jay, where'd you come up with this number?
Which one?
The 11,525.
That was Krista, that's what she, in 2023, and I don't know if she did that on a
Oh,
calendar
We
year.
pulled that out of,
Cause
We
if
did.
you
We
take
did that on fiscal
201
year.
days,
we did it on fiscal year.
okay, 201 minus 83,
We might have actually,
$118.
No, we did that on calendar year, I'm sorry.
As I say, I thought she did it on a calendar year.
So,
We did.
so 118 times 125 comes up to 14,750.
Yeah, she did that on a fiscal year. I mean, on a calendar year, not on a fiscal year.
And I pulled those numbers from Abby.
So we need to pay.
So are we not getting paid for some of this?
Well, no, everybody that's supposed to pay pays, because they have to come in here and get a key. But some of those may have been, like I'm saying, these teams that think they can, you know, have, like, for instance, I'll give you an example, the zombie glow run. The building doesn't get to get rented on that day, but nobody's paying for the building on that day. But the park is shut down on that day. You see what I mean? So the buildings are in use, but nobody's paying. You see what I mean? So there's instances like that where we would have collected money. Feeding America,
Yeah.
we block out the building.
Block out the building, you know,
Elections.
Even though nobody's
Elections.
But it shows
really in
it's
the
used.
building.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Elections.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to amend. No, I can't amend this.
Sure you can.
Okay. Please do, get this over with. I make a motion to amend the original motion back when to do $175 per day, period. No second, third, or fourth, just $175. $50 for nonprofits on the convention center. We're only talking about the convention center. For a non-resident, it would be 250
Per day.
per day.
Non-resident, 250?
Yes, 175 for a resident, 250 for a non-resident, and nonprofits on the convention center are $50 a day. We will research the $50 non-refundable reservation, get more information on that, and I'm still good with only booking out for 1 year.
Good for that. You ain't like to say that.
Alright, so I made the motion.
Second.
Jeff seconds. Any other discussion? It's not allowed. Any other discussion?
No,
Yeah, I'm calling question. Quinn did too. Alright, Jeff,
Yes.
myself, yes, Quinn,
Yes.
Bobby.
yes.
Alright, all in favor. That motion passes.
This becomes effective January 1 of 2025.
Yes, and we will also discuss on how far out we're gonna be the grandfather or notify them of the increase if they're going to change. Cause we need to look at, cause some people come in and pay in ahead of time, so we need to look at that.
I almost feel like I just grandfather everybody in. It's
It would go in effect January 1, but Lee also said we could look at seeing if it was, if we were gonna grandfather those or how far out. You know, if we're only gonna do the booking for a year, we do need to look at it, and I'll bring it back to you and how many maybe we paid or what it is. Alright, the small building is 35 or 75, so it's 35 for a resident, 75 for a non-resident,
Free to a nonprofit.
and free to the nonprofit. Now, I mean, I think if we're gonna do in 4-hour increments, so I think if somebody books it, they only did it for 4, not the whole day, because sometimes it occurs, they would only get it for that time frame. This would be my motion to make it, 50 for 4-hour increments. And then 75 for non. It's only 15 in the difference, and if I made it 100 for a non-resident. 50 and 100, yep, and free for nonprofits.
So you are saying $50 for a 4-hour increment, so if I want it for the whole day, I would need to pay $150. Because, I'm saying that because a lot of people, besides your people that are having meetings constantly, that's your birthday parties too. That's your little birthday parties, people can't afford the big building. And a lot of them are in and out in 4 hours, but some of them wanna stretch it to 6 hours, you know?
Well, I would be
Which I-
okay with
I
50 for 6
understand.
hours.
Right now, the system is set up to only allow 4 hours. We have to go in and manually edit it if they need it the whole day, or if they need it 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever.
So we can edit that to make it 6-hour blocks, can we not? I would do 50 for 6 hours, that's 12 hours if you think about it.
So if you wanted it the whole day, you would just have to book both blocks and
It'd be $100 per resident.
So to get 2 of them in there today, you have to start at a certain time, right?
Yeah, so I think it starts at 8 AM right now, and we have a 1-hour buffer. So for instance, if you book it at 8 AM, the calendar is not gonna show it's available until 1 PM. Now, those 8 AM people have to be out at noon, but we were having people on top of each other, so we've allowed a 1-hour buffer in between events so that people can, the next person, you see what I mean?
I see.
Anyway, right now it's 8,
We think I'll see.
1, and 5. Pretty much, if you book, if you're the first appointment, it would be like 8, 1, and, no, I'm sorry, 6.
I do have one question, because this is gonna affect, even though this goes in effect January 1, anybody that books the building effective today and here on out, it will be the new price, period. So we don't have everybody trying to book what they want next year, thinking that they could potentially be grandfathered in, does that make sense?
I would leave that to the discretion of the judge executive to implement the policy. I think that's an executive function.
Okay.
I think the way that you wanna you've been given a broad scope of authority based on the passage of the motion. I think that you can exercise your executive role too.
Okay.
Yeah, cause there's a lot of ins and outs we're gonna have to think about.
What do you think, Camille?
You're right. I was sitting there figuring.
Oh, but to go with for $75
Multiple
more.
days,
It would cost, we actually increased it. We passed that.
Oh,
We worked past that. That's part of what we're.
Hey, it's one, it's good.
I said we tabled a little building till next month. We still got other items on the
The
agenda.
Vince Jones building,
Okay, hit it, Bobby.
for resident is 50, right?
Okay,
Non-residents is 100,
okay.
and these are in 6 hours increments.
Make that work in the system, sure.
I mean,
That's good.
do they still work at, I mean, can you still get in a day?
You just would have two, probably.
Or-
You would just have two. You'd have like an 8 AM and a 3 PM.
To give them time to get claims
Because we
made
have a
out.
1 hour buffer.
So it'd be 8 to 2, and then they get the hour to clean, and the next one come in at 4, or even 3, and do 4 to 10.
I'll make a motion to do that. 6 hours increments.
I think that motion's on the floor. Jamie made that motion. Jamie made a motion.
I just was talking, he's making the
Oh.
motion. Alright, so Bobby's making the motion for $50 for a resident, $100 for a non-resident, in 6-hour increments, and nonprofits would be able to do the little building for free.
You're gonna have it
Did
all.
we move in that previous one, $50 for, profits? Is that part of it?
Yes, yes, yes. So I need to go back in.
Is there an all-day rate?
You know, so we're gonna have to set up the website for this, and honestly, we're gonna need to change it to accommodate this, but I say we just have an 8, you can either, there's gonna be 2 times, like right now, you can only select 1 time on the convention center, 7 AM, because it's an all day event. On the little building, we need to change it to where there's 2 times, you can have the 8 AM to 2 PM slot, or you can have the 3 PM to late evening slot, you can choose. And we just let that be the only times that you can book. And I think if you need it for both days, you just have to book twice. Or
Yeah,
double
both
day.
times.
Like that, I think that's the only way that it's gonna really work with the website. The easiest. And then what is your deposit gonna be on the small building?
We didn't add the deposit at this time,
Okay.
so we were gonna look at that.
Okay.
So that's the motion by Bobby, 50 for resident, 100 non-resident, 6-hour increments, so it'll be 2 rentals a day, one to start around 8 AM, the second one to start around 3 to 4. And nonprofits are free. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
you all an email. You all should have a copy of the paving list. They are here as well in regards to that. And I will give you the notes that they informed to me. So, Kings Ridge, they're still building on. That's gravel as well, and flex funds, my understanding, cannot be used for gravel roads. It can only be for repaving, am I right?
That's what I understand.
Okay. Commerce Landing. We did, and it's in here, to replace the culverts for Commerce Landing. If we replace all of those culverts, it is the recommendation of the road department not to pave that this fall, to let all of that settle and to put them on the paving list for next year. Horseshoe, they have replaced the culverts on it, so Jason feels confident that it can be paved because they're not deep culverts, and they pack those pretty well.
This is handled better.
Yeah. So it can be paved. And then Cash Road, I still have an issue with Cash Road, but we can look at paving it just from 641 to the creek crossing, but I would not go past the creek crossing. One owner owns the property on both sides of that, and I look at it as that's almost private drive.
Can I say something on it? I skipped that, I think you and I talked about this, but Bertie Bannister was in the same situation in '06 when I started, and they never got anything done in it. And so now look at the road, is beyond repair basically. So, I mean, that's y'all's decision, but sometime I would do something with part of it anyway.
It's currently in the system, so we either look at it or remove it.
Which one?
Cash.
I wouldn't be opposed to taking it out from the creek on.
Like back 641 or the other way?
Towards the house.
Okay.
I mean,
Is there any houses on that road?
well, there's two on Cash Road, that's.
And the only thing about that, we'd have to get permission for him to turn around at his barn shop or whatever, or if it's just a turn around this side of the creek.
So let me ask this, Jamie, if we keep taking roads out of the system, does that affect our money?
We get so much for road miles that are paved.
That's paid.
That's paved.
I don't know, I mean, if we took it out from the creek to his house up there, that's what, 2/10 of a mile, 3/10 of a mile to, what is it up there?
So we just stop at the building.
I'll stop.
Yeah, we don't go all the way up. So, I mean, you ain't a tenth there,
It's just a 10.
yeah, or less, I'd say, it would be over a 10, I believe.
So when you take out Commerce and you take out Kings Ridge, it's $190,519.66. That includes cash from 641 to the creek crossing. Our flex funds were 211. I believe if we don't spend the full 211, it carries over to the next year, so that money would be added in for our flex funds for next year.
Now, Commerce, are you planning on moving in the spring or the fall?
That would probably have to be a fall, because that is pretty much, if you do the whole road, that just ate your flex,
Right.
plus the county has to put some money in. It's $234,854 for the whole road.
So it's subject to go up next year, the pavement is too.
So how many more culverts we got on Commerce that you gotta replace?
That's all of them.
Okay.
There's 14.
I'm waiting on the grant money to come in, I haven't even got it ordered yet, so there's no way we can get them ordered and installed by the time they stop paving this fall.
We have it on the agenda for today, but they made a mistake, but I think I can still pass the $125,000 out of our own money, you can't use flex funds for that. So, and then Sarah Lane is one not on flex funds, this is just flex funds at the
So
moment.
the first time you pave that road, it's all county.
I think the county has to do it, you can't use flex funds,
This new to me, I'm learning this too, so.
if I'm not mistaken, I will double check, but that's the way I understood it.
I don't know the rules on that, but, I mean, I know in my district, we paved a gravel road not long ago, 2 years ago.
But
Yeah, this road.
Yeah, I think it came out of something else.
I'll double check, but I don't think we can.
So you need a motion, Jay.
So what do we go on?
Alright, so it would be on this list that you're looking at, it would be everything but 1, 2, and 3, which is Commerce Landing, and 9 and 10.
How much money are we looking at?
190, 519, 66.
Flex funds we don't use can carry over to next year.
Yes.
Tammy, what were those numbers again? Everything on the list?
Everything.
Except for 1, 2, and 3, and 9 and 10.
It's total one.
190, 519, 66.
You need a motion.
Yes, this will be for flex funds.
Make a motion to pay flex funds. The road is included here.
Jeff's made a motion for the 2024 paving for use of flex funds for the items on the sheet, except for 1, 2, and 3, and 9 and 10, for a total of 190, 519, 66. Do we have a second? Second by Quinn. Any other discussion? I would discuss though with the one on cash, that we will look at removing from the creek back and ask for permission for the turnaround.
so you're gonna take care of that?
The court will do, that. We'll have to add that to the list, but I mean, I think you all could ask him if he's willing to.
Where do y'all turn around at now?
you should also have the tornado roads. Jason, do you remember which ones were still, I think I left that list in my office. No, it's the list that he told me they went out and looked.
Off the top of my head,
So when you look at this, it's, the total is $587,764, well, guess what, we only got $341,000 in safe funds. So. Blue Ridge was still, these are the roads, Lakeview Trail, Blue Ridge, Mountain View, Barrett, East of Villies, Arrowhead, Circle Crest, Eden Bay, Rose Lane, Kelsey Joe, and Gray Farm. Circle Crest and Eden Bay, I know they're not building other than at the entrance of Circle Crest, correct?
right, as far as I can tell. Mountain View, some gentlemen gonna build on Mountain View, so I believe they got done. So that, Mountain View and Blue Ridge both out.
I think Barrett and East of Villies were okay.
Yes. They're building on Arrowhead,
I know they're building on Rose Lane as well.
Yeah.
which is like on our list for paving.
He put it on here, but it, I don't,
I drove past the camping place.
That's my pieces that subdivision.
I don't think they could prove that Rose and Kelsey Joe, those were two that were knocked off by FEMA. So I would look at maybe Eden Bay, Circle Crest, East of Villies, and Barrett.
Barrett, it's just wondering, it was just a patch or two on Barrett.
Yeah, there's 5 patches.
And I'm not sure that I'm one of those out where they're at, because that was March, what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
So do we wanna look at East of Villies, Circle Crest, and Eden Bay then?
I would do those. Because Barrett, Barrett's not bad shape, there's a spot or two on the shoulder. And we can look at it sometime, if you want to bother. But to me, it's not hurting. Great Farm is on the list, I believe, it's not hurting.
I don't think they could even find the patches on Gray Farm when they went to look at it.
Yeah. I would do.
Those 3 would be 196, 567, 90. So I think that would be okay to start.
I would do those, and then I would look at the Mountain View and Blue Ridge, try to finish out the money next year. Maybe they'll be done building there, or closer to done anyway.
No, it's just, it's sitting there, and if they're done rebuilding in those areas, I think respectfully, since the state gave us the money, I think we need to use it to fix those roads for them. Yeah.
But does the state say you gotta do it?
No.
X amount of time?
Mm-mm. No, we've already got it. So I'll make a motion to pay East of Villies, Circle Crest, and Eden Bay from the safe funds that the county has received from the 2021 tornado for a total cost of $196,567.90.
Which one, east of it?
East of Villies, Circle Crest, and Eden Bay. But I'm gonna respectfully ask that also, that may be in the spring, depending, because with the storage units going in at the intersection of 93 and Circle Crest, I don't want them paving until they're done building.
You just wanna go about it.
I made the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. All right, you should have a copy of the conservation district budget. I'm gonna defer to Mr. Wilson on this. Did you look at this? How do you not have it? I also emailed you this. The issue is in the conservation budget's annual, or the conservation district's annual budget, they have $70,000 coming from the fiscal court. The fiscal court only budgeted $58,000.
I don't think you all can approve their budget as is stated because the appropriation from the fiscal court is not gonna be $70,000. If you look at line item R4000 intergovernmental revenues, that 70 should be a 58. By doing so, you reduce their budget by $12,000, wherefore it would make it an upside down budget.
So I just need to send it back to them. We'll need to look at it. So I will send
Is
it
that how they
back.
passed their budget, or is that what they're requesting?
They pass their budget before they send it to us. So there's KRS and law on how we have to reject that, and I'll have to defer to the county attorney to make sure I do that correctly.
I don't think of anything else.
We just gave them 50.
I would just make a note that it was considered by the court, and we're gonna follow
Here
it.
it is from last year. On the back.
And then the next thing you have from them is their annual report, and this just shows, that we have received the report. Yeah. So if you look at the budget last year, which is in the back of your, black folder, I mean, it was $58,000. They asked for a $12,000 increase, but never presented that to the board. So clerk, you can deem the report as received.
I have that in my packet.
You probably don't, I don't know that she made enough,
Okay.
the black folder. That's, they bring that to us.
I'll just show that it's received, and then if they want to print the notes, we can print it out.
All right, you should have a resolution, House Bill 1, the Catawba appropriation. No, they can't show it.
So this resolution is in regards to $2 million House Bill 1 project monies that were received by the city of Catawba. So they were awarded to the city of Catawba, but we were notified that the city of Catawba is not a qualified administrator of those funds. So through the Department for Local Government, it's been offered to us that if the county will administer the $2 million, that the project can still be completed within the city of Catawba. In speaking with some of the magistrates, they had concerns in regards to if we take this project on and we pass this resolution, do we have a written agreement with the city of Catawba insofar as how that's gonna be carried out? We don't, and I think that at least one of the magistrates would like to see a written agreement between the county and the city of Catawba, where if we're gonna administer the funds, it sets forth exactly what we're gonna do. So if you all wanna consider the resolution today, you're more than welcome to. If you wanna wait and get a written agreement with the city of Catawba before doing so, you can do that as well, and we can have that drafted and bring it back in October.
Do the resolution at the same time? Do the resolution at the same time?
You need a motion if you wanna act upon the resolution. If you don't wanna act upon the resolution, then
should also have the Lyon County fiscal year 80-20 bridge project. Okay. So, I did get the agreement yesterday late from the state, from transportation, for the culverts. But he only sent me Commerce Landing. He didn't look at the whole application I sent, he looked at only one and not all of it. So we are missing the rest of the culverts. So I emailed it to him because I said, well, we denied the remaining because it was only 49,500 when we can get up to 100,000. They pay 80, we pay 20. So it's a blanket resolution. They never responded, the state didn't, whether or not I can go ahead and pass that resolution. That way when I get the contract, I can sign the contract and send it back.
I would pass that for clarification and go on.
So then, Jason, you can't do nothing for another month till I get the full payment. Sorry. Alright, you should have one interfund transfer for the payroll fund for $1,845.76. So we'll have to have a motion for the interfund transfer. It has to be separate.
So moved.
Motion by Bobby, we have a second. Second by Jeff, any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. You should also have a list of, regular transfers. Does anybody have any questions on those? Entertain a motion to accept those transfers as printed.
So moved.
Motion by Bobby, second by Quinn, any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passed. Should have the finance officer's report, the treasurer's report, the clerk's report, and the sheriff's report. Clerk, you can show those as received. And then you should have the claims. Any issues on the claims? No issues on the claims?
No.
Bob, you still looking at the claims? Clerk, do you need the claims to be paid? Alright. Magistrates, do you all have anything?
Jamie, do you know any news on the bridge at Cricket County line?
Well, I'm sitting here right now and I just got a message from Kyle Pope that asked me to call him, about the 295 bridge. So, this is what I know prior to him sending me this message 3 minutes ago. But there is a permit issue with the Army Corps of Engineers Louisville office about issuing that permit. The state needs that permit so that they can start the letting process. And once they start the letting process, then they can get the bids in and check everything and get that bridge going.
How long does it take to get this permit?
I don't know how much you've had to deal with before, but they're pretty slow. And I think County Attorney Wilson can tell you the same thing. We've had a lot of issues with the court.
I agree.
the city of Eddyville's tried for like years to get the Port Authority Road, and we finally just got that accomplished. It took 2 years, almost 3 years, to get the permit for 50 feet on Okatawa Road, for that subdivision to go in. It's horrible. But Kyle may have more new information for me on that. Anything else? No. I'll tell you from the May tornado, the Hazardous Mitigation Grant Fund is currently open. If there's anything that you all would like to see us apply for, keep in mind that the local applicant would be responsible for 13% of that. Some of the things you can apply for is like outdoor warning sirens, no weather radios, generators, and mitigation educational outreach. You can even do the tornado shelters, or safe rooms, as they call it. We've tried for that before, hadn't got the grant, and because of financial restraints, we had to pull that funding.
And I'm not saying apply for this, but how far out will the siren reach? If you were to put one here in the city of Eddyville, how far part of the county?
Usually 4 miles, sir, depending upon terrain.
And it's for outside, it's not for inside.
If you're inside of the house, you will not hear it. Yeah, that's why a lot of people have asked us why we've never went with tornado sirens. It's not cost effective. And then your upkeep, like Livingston County's upkeep, is about $75,000 a year. Because they have an outside company that tests them, and then when they don't fire, go off, they have to have them come in and service them.
I mean, I would be more apt for the NOAA radios, or, even like the one call,
I wasn't asking, because I was just interested in see how far it went out.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, our system we have is pretty good, I think, with all the notifications.
I agree, sir. I think that's your best option, that and NOAA weather radio is your best options to get everybody all at one time. I would concur that you could possibly take some of that grant funding and hopefully build an emergency operations center.
These are so you can do acquisition or demolition or elevation of flood-prone or landslide-prone structures, engineered stormwater control projects, community tornado safe rooms, flood-proofing or